It's Judy on the radio, building dreams and achieving more, telling it just like it is. Most of all, keeping it real. Are you ready for real talk? Changing lives and communities. Real talk. Saving all our families. Real talk. Bringing hope for you and me. Real talk. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio.
I am Dr. Judy, your Real Talk Radio host on this amazing, beautiful, chilly day. It's a nice, chilly day out there. Actually, it's a cold day out there, but I appreciate it. I guess I brought it back with me from Scotland. So those of you who are joining me via radio, Facebook Live, YouTube, and the radio app, thank you all so very much for being on. Again, thank you. From the Real Talk with Judy live radio show. Please do me a favor. Please do me a favor. Call, text, tag everyone you know, and invite them to join us during this broadcast. Y'all already know I am a product, a legend, a legacy. My mom, Mother Dr. Irma Hunter Wesley, and my dad, Sylvester George Wesley Sr. And they're the reason I am who I am. Matter of fact, my siblings, my mom and dad, grandchildren, are their legacy. So we thank you, and we are because of them. So thank you all so very much. And to my wonderful husband, who I know is probably saying, what in the world? And he's probably home trying to make this thing work. He probably is. But it happens, right? We don't stress about it. It just happened. Life happened. And I think that's a good thing to put in the chat. Sometimes life just happens, and we frustrate ourselves when we panic and get all thrown out of whatever. Hey, ain't nothing I can do about it. So ain't nothing we gonna do about it, right? I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna show y'all today how to maneuver some stuff. Matter of fact, my guest told me she old school. So I'm gonna show y'all how to maneuver this stuff right here. Okay, because life happens, and I want you all to understand, hey, when it ain't nothing you can do about it, don't stress yourself, man. We're living in some hard times right now, and don't stress yourself, okay? Don't stress yourself. I want to thank God for Priscilla John Lewis. She's doing her best to help me. She don't know what's going on. It's something with my internet, I believe, that is not working on all of my technology things. It's not my computer, my laptop, my iPad. It's not working on anything. So we'll get it. All right. Ain't no big problem. Because guess what? I'm old school too. I had to print it out on paper today because it's not working. All right. So it's no big deal. Just as long as y'all can hear us and y'all get the information from Ms. Barnes, I'm excited. That's what I want y'all to get. And so that's what we're doing today. Well, we're going to get right on in. We're going to get right on into this. And I thank God again for my husband, for Priscilla. They're trying to make this work. See that? Priscilla, she going to make it work. They trying. All right. So I am only as big as my team. So I thank God for Priscilla, Carolyn, and the audience. I thank God for you. Because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have to have no show. So listen what I'm going to do. I'm on my phone. So I'm going to have to turn my phone around to go to Ms. Barnes, back to me. Ms. Barnes, back to me. And it may stay on her more than me because she is my guest. And I have to treat my guest with the utmost respect, right? And I want to respect her. For the month of March, what I've decided to do is to bring in the older women, the aging women, y'all should see that look she's giving me, boy. Y'all should see that look, the Asian women. And that's because I believe that one of the problems that's lacking, especially in the Black community, we don't have enough of our older women speaking into us. And we have to listen when they speak. Sometimes we say that's old fashioned. Listen, They have made it through the 80s, the 90s, 100. We have to listen to our older Black mothers who have saved us and brought us this far in life. They have gone through some things. They can tell us. I think the thing is, been there can always tell, come here, something like that. But they can tell us how to make it through this hard time that we're living in right now. This hard time this is hard. For some of us, we've never seen it like this before, ever. You almost don't know what to say because you don't know if you're going to get arrested. You know, you're going to get beat up. But women like Ms. Barnes and Mother D.K. Richardson, they can tell us stuff. And we got some more out there. Today, I have the honor and the privilege of having Ms. Althemese Barnes here in the studio with me. And she's an Asian woman. And she doesn't speak just from a textbook, but she speaks from a blueprint that has already stood the test of time. And her power is to earn success of outlasting the enemy's nights that they're doing. I want to say this before, y'all. She is powerful. Althemese Barnes, she have created so much, and I want to read a couple of things about her before we get started. She earned her bachelor's degree in music education, followed by a master's degree in guidance and counseling. And before retiring from her 30-year career with the Department of Education and Labor, she began thinking about the stories she remembered listening to as a young girl. She understood that when a person dies, you lose a whole library. So she wanted to make sure that people are not forgotten. In 1996, Ms. Althemese founded the John G. Riley Museum, where she served as the executive director for 17 years. And her mission was preserving and documenting the stories of her elders. And she started by recording conversation from her own family. And so y'all listen, start recording your older people's stories. Get these stories down. They're trying to take everything from it, but they can't take it if it's in us, right? And then she helped launch the career of the local artist, Illuster Richardson, when she tasked him with creating some artwork to hang on the empty walls of the Rally House. Listen to this. In 1997, she established the African American Heritage Preservation Network. And it was because of all of that, President Obama appointed her to serve on the board of the Institute of Museum and Library Services in 2012. In 2012, a national appointment by the President of the United States of America at that time. And in 2022, the city of Tallahassee honored her with the Althemese Pemberton Barnes Park, recognizing her for the preservation work of Smoky Hollow, Frenchtown, Greenwood Cemetery, the United States Color Troops, and countless other projects. Ladies and gentlemen, I have sitting right here before me today in Tallahassee, Florida, the legacy. She's alive, she's beautiful, and she's funky. And she changed the name of my show today. She changed it. So I sit here with Ms. Althemese Barnes. What an honor, ma'am, to sit here with you today.
It is indeed an honor to be with you here too, Pastor Judy. And I will share, when I first got the call, and she said, yes, my show is, we want to do aged women giving wisdom to young women. So I said, wait a minute now, the aged, AGED, we have to make some changes. That's aging. We never think of ourselves as aged.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that means you're done, you're finished, and there's no other preservation or anything that can happen. You finished.
Yes, ma'am.
So we still live day to day, just continuing to work until a power greater than us say,
Yes, ma'am.
you're aged and it's time to come home.
Yes, ma'am.
But here,
We're aging.
we're aging. My mom lived to 99. She was aging and never missed a beat. Went like that.
Wow.
So I'm used to people aging,
Yes, ma'am.
not aging, aged out.
Yeah.
And I really sort of couch everything in history. Because for me, and you stop me whenever you want to ask me a question.
Yes, ma'am, I will, but you just go ahead, Ms. Barnes.
But one thing about history, for me, history is intelligence. Knowing history and understanding history is intelligence.
Yes, ma'am.
How can people live from day to day, make wise choices, bad choices, or whichever direction they might go, without having an understanding of history to make the wise choice? And it's not complicated. I think sometimes it's before and especially now, people make it difficult.
Mhm.
History is simply the past. At one time, this street that this building is on was dirt. Now it's paved.
Yes, ma'am.
That's history. It's simple.
Yes, ma'am.
Certain plants going up Mahan with the beautiful hydrangeas, whatever those are. At one time, they weren't there. That's the past. That's history. So
Wow.
I think we kind of put too much complication into the word history.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when it comes to life, it's very important for our present generation to know from whence they came.
Yes, ma'am.
To forget the past denies future and present generations a future and a foundation
Yes, ma'am.
for hope. If you see me and I'm driving whatever the nice cars are now, and I'm in a university giving instruction and leading, and my students see me in that light, but they don't know at one point I was getting on the truck every day during the week on Mr. Clifford Wands's truck.
Yes, ma'am.
In Frenchtown, Griffin Heights, with all the other little children. We were elementary, middle school, high school, being driven to Havana to work on the tobacco field.
Wow.
So we could help our families sustain and have a better life. So when you don't, the past, it's not only to paint the pictures of the hangings and the beatings and
Yes, ma'am.
those things that took place, but what happened in between to get me from that position in life, and many others like me.
Yes, ma'am.
Some who don't want to admit it, but they were on that truck to work up from 6 in the morning and getting back to Tallahassee by almost 6 o'clock for like $6 a week. So some don't want to claim, but you have to feel it. History feels in that space from that time to where I am today.
Yes, ma'am.
And so when we study that history, as I said, it's a foundation for hope. The Riley House, if you think about John Riley, born into slavery right here in Lynn County on what is now Park Avenue in a shack. But what did he do? He went on to become principal of the first school that was built to provide an education for newly freed slaves and their descendants. That was in 1893.
So is that the elementary school?
The school on Brevard Street, that brick building.
Yes, ma'am.
And he principled from 1893 to 1926. And it's called Lincoln because it came out of the Freedmen's Bureau that was set up to help the newly enslaved people adapt, adjust to their new life. That happened because of President Abraham Lincoln and the Emancipation Proclamation. So it's Lincoln, and it is known as a freedmen's school for that reason, and they exist all across the country for the same purpose. And now also we need to understand that history is important to all people. We have evidence of different races of people, and I'll stick with black, white, because that's what we've been exposed to most.
Yes, ma'am.
Up until the late 19th century, when the others came in. But in Leon County, you had over 52, not over, but there were 52 one-room Negro, they called them then, schoolhouses. But they only went to 6th or 8th grade. And when it came to that level, then students were brought in to Lincoln to get that the high school. But some of those schools are called Rosenwald schools.
Are you in here?
Yes.
I just want to make sure they can see that this is rich.
And the reason they are called Rosenwald schools, and the Riley Museum just put on their second Lunch and Learn lecture on the Rosenwald schools. Well, Rosenwald was a white philanthropist. He owns the Sears Roebuck. That's kind of gone out of style now. But Rosenwald worked along with Booker T. Washington, and they talked about the need for education. And so Rosenwald took some of his funds and put them forward so that these schools could be built to help these schools. And right here in Leon County, as I said, there were 52. The Riley House has a publication with the photographs of all 52 of them that was donated by Mrs. Thelma Lawrence, wife of Principal Former of Lincoln. She was a teacher, and one of her assignments was to go around to these 52 schools and evaluate them for health, safety, etc. And she happened to have kept her scrapbook. So when she heard us start in the Riley Museum and Mr. Riley and what we were talking about, she called me one day and I went over. She was an aging woman.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we sat and talked. And she said, because her husband hired me. So that's why I'm saying that the difference in generations.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And she said, I've been hearing you. She said, I have something I want to donate. She went in the back room and brought out this old Sears Roebuck catalog with a big scrapbook in it. And in it were the original photographs of the 52 schools that once existed in Leon County to serve Black children, Negroes, coming out of slavery.
Wow.
So that's in a publication. There's an exhibit. There's now a full listing of all the Rosenwald schools at the Riley Museum that existed in the state of Florida, concentration state of Florida. So I said that to say that it's not just Black people who have shown concern about everybody being educated.
Yes, ma'am.
But there were some well-meaning whites. You had a Jeans supervisor, Miss Anna Jeans. And so back in the day, there was a superintendent over white schools and a superintendent over Black schools. The one over Black schools was called the Jeans supervisor over all the schools, because Miss Anna Jeans, who was a white Quaker woman, out of Philadelphia donated money to Black schools to help with the operations. So that's why you had Jean's supervisor, or some people would say a Jean school or Rosenwald school. So we want everybody to understand that it was not a one person, one generation, one movement effort. Of course, we give credit as well, very much, to our churches.
Yes, ma'am.
Because many of the churches had carpenters, plumbers, the things that were needed to help build these schools. And they put in a lot of those church members, not only back during the period of Reconstruction and afterward, but even into the 30s, 40s, 50s, you will find that deacons of these churches, ministers, put in their time and constructed the first sanctuaries. Now, of course, we've had the younger pastors come along and they want brick and masonry and what have you. So a lot of them tore those churches down. It would have been great
To preserve
the building. If you built close by, keep that wooden structure there. So future generations could learn from it and could smell those ancestors in there doing their work and walk into these sacred places that were made possible by us, Blacks, Negroes, African Americans. So I would like to extend an invitation. We have a young man coming up here in May, Dr. Reverend Rick Stevenson from University of Florida. And he's going to talk about some of this and the resilience of the people who went before us. And then he ties it to the scripture. It will be May 19th, 2026 at Parkview. And see, for me, the church has always been a pillar of my aging.
Yes, ma'am.
Because my family, there was 10 children. One died at a younger age.
Yes, ma'am.
So we all grew up, 9 of us, in this 3-bedroom house with 1 bathroom. But my mother and father were strong on religion and education. And every Sunday, we had to go to Sunday school.
Yes, ma'am.
Then we stayed because they were coming to church. Then we knew we'd all go back home together. And there was something that we always got from a little girl. We had the little Sunday school cards. And I say to people, if we would just live by what we were taught back then, the 10 Commandments,
Yes, ma'am.
out of Exodus, I think it is.
Yes, ma'am.
Thou shalt not lie. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not covet. Honor thy mother and father, so that thy days will be long upon the land that God giveth thee.
Yes, ma'am.
And I remember that one a lot. So I tried to be obedient, so my life will be long upon the land.
To work, mother, because you up there. You're over 80. I say that much, and I don't think I get in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see you doing your hand like them old women.
Yeah.
That's how my grandmama used. But go ahead.
But yeah, if we just live by that, but it has to start, young women, with you, and then train your children. Send them to Sunday school. Reverend Elder Moses Jeremiah was our pastor. And they knew if nobody else was coming to Sunday school, the little Pemberton children would be there. Rain, cold, sleet, or snow. And we had to walk. But that was a rule in our house.
Ms. Barnes, do you think that's one of the major things that's missing I mean, I believe that, and I know sometimes people say, well, it ain't just prayer. And I know that. But this is the foundation of hope, as you talked about, the foundation of hope, getting them in Sunday school and church, instilling into them. I believe that if we can return back to that, and you mentioned the young women, and we can get them to understand that everything that you taught, I read your history. Your mom and dad put that was paramount in y'all family.
Mhm.
Here you are over 80. Tell us how important, Ms. Barnes, that is to us. And I got some more. So you're saying, I'm sitting here like, wow.
Yeah, well, that's the foundation. It's right in that scripture. I didn't go around reciting it every day, thou shalt not die. But it was ingrained in me because from the minute you were in the arms, you would or could walk with the others. You went to Sunday school, and before that, your mama was bringing you to church. So you hear these things,
Yes.
but you need to ground your life in it, because those words, if you just stick with those, I think it's just difficult to get off track.
Wow.
Now, another thing that, and I'm not, this is not a criticism, and I
Yes.
believe in all the other parts of the Bible and the different ways sermons are delivered these days. But our religious leaders too need to go back. Like they say, go back to the old landmark.
Yes, ma'am.
Go back as often as possible to the foundations of that scripture that I'm just talking about.
Yes.
The Beatitudes. Professor Riley, they tell me from research, every morning in chapel, the students had to recite the Beatitudes and the preamble to the Constitution.
Wow.
When that happens early in life, might not save all,
Yes, ma'am.
but there's that opportunity for the more inspiring things in life to occur. Now, with education, that's the other part.
Yes, ma'am.
When we would talk about, yeah, I'm going to move up north when I grow up, or I'm going to get married and have some children, my mother would say, and my father always backed her up, she was the strong one, disciplined, but he was right there behind her.
Yes, ma'am.
And she would say, now, that's when you get your education. And she didn't mean elementary, middle, high school.
Yes, ma'am.
She meant college.
Yes, ma'am.
And every one of us, all 9, went to college. And when the 7th one was graduating, President B.L. Perry gave my parents the Presidential Award for having graduated the most children when that 7th one, Jacqueline, graduated.
Wow.
Now, my mother's education stopped at 10th grade. My father, 3rd, because one of the parents died. They were the oldest. They had to leave school to help take care of the others.
Yes, ma'am.
There were 12 of my mom in those, 6 of my dad in those. Daddy's daddy passed. My mother's mother passed in her 40s. So they had to take over. That's why they left school. So I think that might be a part of why they were so determined that we would get a full education, which we did. So education too is very important. And everything doesn't come out the book.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Now we got the academics and all of that. But then there are other things that come through other teachings that they gave. You have to have respect for people. Engage not only in home church activities, but get involved with what's going on in the community that's positive. Your civic responsibility. We couldn't march because my mother and father felt we needed to be in school. And then we had chores to do at home when you're trying to keep a house with 9 children. And your garden, our garden was where Griffin Middle School is now. So we had to go up the hill and get water and bring it down the hill in the tub. And I was one of the small ones. So my job was to get some of the water out of the cup in a vegetable can and walk up and down the road, watering there. So we didn't have time. We had time tomorrow. No. But on occasion, if somebody like Stokely Carmichael or M.L. King or something was coming, now they would let us go to that. My dad would take us, so we couldn't just go on our own. Like I saw some of my friends do it. I wanted to do that so bad.
Yes, sir.
But we couldn't just go places on our own after dark. And but that's how we kept up with what was going on. And I'll never forget, one of our classmates was raped by 3 white men after the prom one year. And I don't know why, but for some reason, my mother let us walk from home to town, and we sat in on that trial. I think I do know why she did it.
Yes, ma'am.
To teach us, when you go somewhere and it's over, come home. This young lady and another young lady went with some guys to one of the parks close by. So I think that's why they wanted us
To go to the trial.
Yeah. So those are some of the things that were strong in my family that I feel I look at them like pillars of life. Pillars. If we could get back to some of that. Now, as I grew up and started to work, and I was able to bring some of that to be in my own space, because by then I'm making my own living. So that's where I got involved in the NAACP. I was secretary of the state NAACP for 14 years. My husband was an executive director with NAACP. And then we did go to the marches or whatever, but that's when you get your own property, you have your own money, you make your own decisions.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's the way everything came in order.
Wow.
Certain things were, you were the child, we are the adult. Then as you get older, now you're okay now. You make your own choices. So if we can live that way, and once we grow up, get involved with civic activities, because it's important. We don't have enough people volunteering to be on housing committees and other committees that address issues such as housing and food and homelessness. We need people. Yeah, you work your regular job like we all did, but there's an obligation. Once you're intelligent, you've gotten your education, you're spiritually grounded, there's an obligation to help change something. And the place to do it is through those avenues where decisions are made. And when you go there, I'm talking to the young people now, and some old such a, you can present your issue in a respectful way.
Come on, man.
And get as much attention.
Yes, ma'am.
Because one thing you want to do, if you're going in front of the policymakers or the people who can make decisions where you want to get what you are asking for or you do not.
Yes, yes.
Any of that emotional, because we all get emotional, but do that in a private meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
They have schedules. Get on the calendar, talk about it there. But whoever felt good about doing something for someone, if they're battered
Sure.
publicly.
Wow.
When we grew up, there was nothing like going before the county government or school board or whatever, calling by first names. Those were respectful positions. And if you do that, maybe you'll get respect. I never heard people go and call. We never did it.
Yes, ma'am.
And I had to go for these different calls that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it was always Mr. Chairman and other commissioners or Mr. Speaker of the House. My name is thus and so, and then you proceed. Do it respectful. The other part, supposedly, you've already worked out.
Yes, ma'am.
But in the one-on-one.
Ms. Barnes, I am enjoying this thoroughly. I really am.
I need to stop and let you ask me whatever one question.
I wanted. I mean, I got a question, but I am getting more out of what you're saying, and I'm sitting here thinking, God, thank you, because I have this platform, over 60,000 people listening to us, or probably more, and I'm going to play it again and again, because I believe this is what's missing too. Having the aging women to sit down with the family. I think Tyler Perry has one of his movies, and Cicely Tyson is sitting down, and everybody, men, women, boys, girls, sitting at a. This is what I think need to be a cascade. Mm-hmm. And you're sitting on a stage and telling this to us. No, this is important. And I'm sitting here because some of the things everything that you're saying is how I was raised. And now I'm 67 and I've been pouring and pouring, mm-hmm. because I want us to understand that this is it. Mm-hmm. And we're missing this. Mm-hmm. We're missing the big mamas of our community, mm-hmm. who can sit down and we sit at their feet. Yeah. And you teach us, like you're doing right now, mm-hmm. how to go to city commissioners, mm-hmm. how to go to county commissioners, how to talk to representatives and everybody, mm-hmm. how to get recognized by the president of the United States for the work that you're doing. But what you just said, Ms. Barnes, you put us in order. As a child, you're not mature enough to do some things. You're giving us order. You're telling us how to be successful. And this is what we need. This world is crazy. And it's getting worse. The president now, he took us out of NATO. Now he's begging them to come back and help us. But you're teaching us how to respect everybody. And that it's not just all of the blacks. It's not just we have to work together. And you, Ms. Barnes, you said something earlier. You said that it's not just teaching about being hanging on the tree. It's not just that. That's what you're teaching us.
No.
Oh,
no. I'll tell you an example of one church of something they are doing. First Presbyterian Church, corner of Park Avenue in South Adams.
Yes, ma'am.
We've been going there. We've gone 3 years on May 20th, Freedom Day in Florida. And so I had a call from the leadership, and they wanted to do a Zoom. They said, we've been thinking, and we need to do more, because they put a sign on the church already saying that they apologize for slavery.
Right.
And, some of their members were slaveholders. But they said, we need to do more than that. And so they asked me if I would get on the Zoom with them. They said, because we don't need the 5 white women sitting up here talking about what we need to do and no black input. So I got on the Zoom with them, and we talked about things that Riley was doing and what have you, Riley Museum. And so they came back and said, okay, we really love the idea of the lunch and learn or dinner and learn. So what would it take to sponsor one of those? So Dr. Myers told him, he's the one who took my place when I stepped down now I've worked there 24 years, by the way.
For 24 years.
Philanthropy. People look and said, oh, they're getting paid. No, nobody getting paid. Same thing with NAACP. When we were out there doing all that work, yeah, they're getting paid. No, we're not getting paid. But so First Presbyterian Church is sponsoring the next lecture that's coming up, the funding for it. They are also discussing with Riley to sponsor a couple of the internships.
Wow.
That's a predominantly white church.
Yes, ma'am.
Congregation. It was built with slave labor, and they acknowledged that. Slaves sat up in the balcony is still there. But they recognize that they have an obligation because of how the church started and what it used to be. When the Presbyterian church on campus that my husband and I used to attend, they had to get their own church. Why? Because a lady from New York, Miss Irene Mandexter, who taught math at FAMU, came down here. She was Presbyterian, and she went to First Presbyterian, and they wouldn't let her come in. So what they said was, we'll help you all build the church. And that's how the Black Presbyterian Church. So see, when you know those things, then you understand why we have work to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Together.
Together. Together, Ms. Bond. Oh man, this is so rich. Because you said but the history is the future. Well,
to forget the past.
To forget the past
Denies future generations
and the foundation of hope.
And present generations their heritage. Denies them their heritage and a foundation for hope.
And we have to hear history.
Yeah.
And that's what's wrong with a lot of this stuff now. We have to hear history.
And we need to make it a part of our sermons. Back in the day, Reverend Miles, George Wilson. George Wilson was he was one of those people, like they used to call it, from the Holy Ghost headquarters.
Wow.
Now they tell me he didn't have the reading skill, but he knew that Bible. And when he got up there and started talking with that whining voice and
Who was that? George Wilson?
Reverend George Wilson. His father was one of the ministers from way back, St. Peter's Church. My mother was converted under old man George Wilson. Then the son became a minister afterward. He took over from his father, and then he ministered to some other churches. But they talked about what I'm talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, they did the Bible and we call collard green voice thing kind of too, but they taught us through Sunday school and then on into their service.
How can we get, because it seemed like the Black church, church, period, is dying. And I mean, you got people going, and I know we're fasting and we're praying, and we still got some good pastors. We got some. How can we restore some of this? Oh, when I first walked in, you said, "Now I'm old school." I love the old school. I really do. I love the old school. I'm from a Pentecostal church, Ms. Dawn. But back in the day, you had to call Jesus about 1,000 times, but it taught us something. And I know people make fun of the old school now, but I love the old. What I'm doing right now, this is what I love. This is what I think help us. This Sister Girls Network, I want us to sit down, bring 100 or more of us together. Sit down at your feet. Sit down at D.K. Richardson's feet. Let y'all pour into us how we can come together as Black and whites. And as you said, they brought in everybody else later, the ages and everybody. How do we work together as women? You just, when you was talking, I thought of the picture that we would see these women carrying the things on their head, making sure their families are taken care of. In my community, I used to see these old women doing this and all that. My great-grandmother used to sit me between her legs, that long dress on. She'd be combing my hair. combing it and then just telling me stories, telling me how to. That's why I do the things I do now. Because my great grandmother, my grandmama, and my mother, they were always, and I would always, and my uncle said I used to sit there and stare at my mother. But she would always talk to me about how to handle life and how to control my anger. Because I was a I was a bad little girl because I felt like Harriet Tubman, like I had to save the world. And I felt like you had to be, to get everybody. But she taught me how to channel this stuff. My husband tell people that I'm so much better now because I ain't care about nobody feeling. If I ain't like it, I ain't like it. And if you said something, because number one, I ain't scared of nobody because my daddy taught us not to be. But this type of stuff, Miss Vaughn, it will help shape me into the woman I am now. And I want everybody to get this.
Well, see, some of the modern, I guess, has its place because we want the young people in business and things that are. But you go even to the music, and you see where I was a music person here.
Yes, ma'am.
Some of the songs now, even, what do they mean? Some of those old hymns, the lyrics,
yes, ma'am,
tell you something. They prepare you for that road. But what I hear now, sometimes I don't even know what they're saying.
What they say. You're right.
And it'll go on and on, on and on and on. Repeat, repeat, repeat. But the words in those hymns, inspiring. We need to go back to some of that. And I was working once with one of the pastors here who has pretty good size convocation, reputation. And I mentioned this to him. Of course, it's been many years ago because I was still with the state. And he said, well, we still have to get the offering. Well, the offering, it'll come.
Yes,
use your intelligence to kind of factor that in. But you can still talk about life and what that's all about. And now I don't want to miss, but the health, we need to work on health too, because we're getting all kinds of different ailments now. We don't have those old farms now where Uncle Lord or Aunt Liddy will go up to the farm and put us a thing of greens and bring them on back down. Or we go out and get the turkey and bring it in and clean it and cook it. That's all the food they're talking now, saying good food.
Yes, ma'am.
Carrots, beets, squash, grow them all in the backyard. But we don't do that now. So we need to also let our young people, all people, know about health, dieting, the foods that are not good, and exercise. Folks used to say, when they got real up in age, and the person said, well, baby, just keep living.
Yes,
baby, just keep living. But it will enable some of us to live maybe longer so that we can do more before the final transition, before the transition. But, and another thing, property. My daddy had a saying, he was a good one with saying, he would always say, you don't need to rent. My people came up with property coming out of enslavement. We came Pemberton Road and all that. That's us. Yes. But he said renting is like buying corn for a dead mule. He said if you don't get but a little strip, buy property. Don't rent. You aren't helping yourself. And my mother, I tell you, one of the other secret things, when you get married, have you some money somewhere that you can get to.
Yes, ma'am. Y'all hear that, ladies?
Don't count on anybody.
That's right. Have you some money somewhere that you can get to. That's right.
Always done that.
That's right. Wow.
Because you never know when I'm divorced and remarried. You never know. I've been through that.
That's right. Listen, y'all, I'm gonna have to go. But I'm gonna bring her right on back.
There's some others out there.
Huh?
There's some others out there.
There's some others out there, but I'm gonna bring you back. I'm gonna do a pattern. But the reason you're gonna give me some others. It is some others out there, but you know what? This has been. I'm gonna put it on me because I'm gonna put it on me for a minute. I told y'all I'm in, and I can't see any of the comments because I don't know how to do it. But listen, this is rich. I'm about to get ready to go, but I got to have Miss Alta. She's gonna give me a couple of minutes of something. But y'all, this is rich. And I'm going to ask everybody if you would please share this on your page. Please share this on your page. The information that Ms. Barnes gave us today is priceless. This is priceless. My God, what wisdom. Y'all, she gave us how to restore our community, how to save our community. She taught from the church to the education, to our community, to our civic. It is our responsibility once we get in order, children. And if you're not prepared, don't go out there. You got to get an education, y'all. You have to get an education. We got to work with other people. She just showed us how to do. Man, my heart is so filled. This is what I love to do. This will help us. This is wisdom. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this in the month of March. I'm bringing in these older women. I am. I'm bringing, because the older women, they save our families. They save our community. And they built our churches. They did. And so, Ms. Barnes, I want to thank you so very much. And y'all could join me tonight in Bible study. You could join me Sunday. That's Life Changers. You could join me Sunday. Miss Barnes, what is the Riley House address?
419 East Jefferson Street. It's 2 blocks behind the Leon County Courthouse.
Okay, 419 East Jefferson Street, 2 blocks behind the Leon County Courthouse. Y'all go see it.
Mm-hmm.
Go see it.
Exhibits and books and
I think she brought this for me to keep.
Yeah. And the lecture series, of course, you have to register, but
okay,
it's always.
So we want to
Parkview.
At Parkview,
next to the AC Marriott.
Oh, okay. So
and no cost.
There's no cost. So I'm gonna let her close us out right quickly. All right. And but I want y'all to join us. This is what it is. Share this. Share this. This was powerful. Commissioner Diane William Cox, thank you. She recommended you to me because I wanted someone who knew, who'd been there, who can help us. And she didn't hesitate. I mean, immediately. She said, Althemese Barnes. And when I called you, you responded immediately. And I called her back. And when you told me, you say, if it rain now, I can't drive. I said, it don't matter. I'll come get you. But God gave us a beautiful day today so you can talk to us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so very much for listening. This has been Real Talk, and I want to greatly appreciate you all. But I'm going to let Ms. Althemese Barnes give us some few words to close us out because, I mean, she's been a blessing to us, and I want her to end us, okay? So, Ms. Barnes, make sure you're in there.
I am.
All right.
And I will just say, once you hear what our ancestors did on our behalf, though they had gone through many struggles and triumphs, they made a way. Once you hear that, there's an obligation to follow in those footsteps so that moving ahead, the next generation, and really some present generations, will be able to participate, be more respectful, learn your community, and get involved. And remember, the history that we don't get within the next 10 to 15 years from people like me, we won't have it.
There y'all have it. Y'all see how she ended that? She just dropped the mic on us, didn't she? Ms. Althemese Barnes, thank you so very much. And you all go to the Rally House at 419 East Jefferson Street and see our history. Go look and see what happened. Man, I have been thoroughly blessed today. And I want to thank you so very much. Matter of fact, may I suggest while y'all on spring break, enjoying some of the enjoying and relaxing, just going over to the Riley House. And parents, you owe it to your children. Get those kids in Sunday school. Get those children in Sunday school, and then come back and go to church with them. Join them in Sunday school, and then come back and go to church with them. Let's make this a family. We got to save our families. And it's not just the Black people saving Black people. It's all of us working together, saving our families, saving our boys and girls, teaching them right from wrong. Get the 10 Commandments in these children's hands. Put the 10 Commandments in your families. All right? Put them 10 Commandments. Start with that. Put the Beatitudes out. Put the Beatitudes. Start with the 10 Commandments and the Beatitude. Bring them to Sunday school. Bring them to church. And make all of that happen. Because you know why? That's real talk. Love you. And I hope to see you all again next Tuesday with another wisdom time, with another aging woman. Thank you so very much for tuning in to the Real Talk with Judy live radio show.
Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with